Hello students, today we will continue the lecture on sand mold casting, and today's topic, this is the gating system of the sand mold casting. But before going to the discussion on it, at first we will recapitulate the previous things which we already studied in the previous lectures. So the first thing, this is casting. So what we do in casting? At first we prepare some cavity for the product in between the mold. Then we fill this cavity with the liquid material, and after solidification of this liquid material we get the product. So these steps we follow, this is the process for the casting. Now we know that what's the steps required to follow in casting. So first one, for getting the product by means of the casting, so the first step, it's required to prepare the pattern. It's required to prepare the pattern. Now the second one, the second step, it's required to make the molding sand and mold. Okay, this is the second step. Now the third one, this is it's required to melt the material. It is required to melt the material, and after that we fill this liquid material in between the cavity. Okay, we fill this liquid material in between the cavity, and then solidification. And after solidification we get the product. Okay, so after solidification there are also some steps required to follow, like the fettling or machining or finishing, like that. So these are the general steps it's required to follow in case of getting the product by means of the casting process. Okay, now the first one, this is pattern. So pattern means, you know that the pattern, this is the replica of the job, and the dimension of the pattern, it's the replica of the job, but the dimension is just not like the product dimension. Okay, there is little bit difference between the product dimension and the pattern dimension. Okay, suppose this is the product. Okay, we will make it by using the casting process, and the product has some dimensions, like this is H. Okay, and the diameter, this is equals to D. Okay, so this is the product dimension. So pattern, this is the replica of this job. Okay, but there is little bit difference in the dimension between the pattern and the product, and this difference, this is called the allowance. Okay, now for making the pattern, what's the material we generally use? So the very common material, this is wood. Okay, because it's common, because it's easily available and its cost is very less, and also you can give any shape easily on the wood. Okay, so very common material, this is wood. And also sometimes we use some metals like the cast iron or the brass or aluminium, and sometimes we also use the plastic and the plaster of Paris. Okay, so these are the materials we use for making the pattern, and each and every material has some definite advantages and the disadvantages. Like if you say the wood, it's easily available, cheap, and also it's possible, very easily it's possible to give the shape for the pattern. Okay, but at the same time it's not suitable for repetitive use. Okay, if you choose the wood for making the pattern, it's not suitable for repetitive use because it will worn out, and also for repetitive use it lost its dimension. Okay, and we use the metal like the cast iron or the brass or aluminium in case of the pattern which we repetitive use. Okay, and also in that cases where we use the machine hammer, that means ramming, for making the mold. Okay, for machine ramming, at the time of preparation of the mold, either you can ram the sand manually, or sometimes we use the machine. Okay, the vibrative action of the machine, we use it for making the mold. Okay, so in that cases we use the metallic pattern. Okay, so each and every material has some advantages and disadvantages, and also according to our requirement we choose the right material for making the pattern. Okay, now the pattern, it's the replica, but it's not that means there are different types of pattern we use for making the making the required cavity, because it's not suitable or it's not possible to withdraw the pattern from the mold as a single piece for all the time. And also you can say that it's not possible to fill the molding sand in between the flask all times by using a single piece pattern. Okay, it's very suitable or is very acceptable if it is possible to make the pattern by using a single piece, but it's not possible for all the times. Okay, it's not possible at the time, that means it's not possible with respect to withdraw it from the mold, and also with respect to the fill the molding sand. Okay, so and also there are some other factors are available due to which there are different types of patterns we use for making the mold cavity. Okay, and you know the names, the different types of patterns, like the single piece pattern when we make as a single piece. Okay, for very simple shape or you can say very small kind of product, we use the single piece pattern. So this is single one. Sometimes we use the split pattern. Okay, it's maybe it have two halves or more than two halves. Okay, so if you use more than two halves, so the lower one which we place in the drag flask, the upper one we place in the pour flask, and if there is some if have more than three, that means the middle, this we place in the cheek flask. Okay, so this is called the split pattern. Okay, suppose the product is like that. Suppose this is the product. Okay, suppose this is the product. So we make the pattern in two halves. Okay, so this is the upper one and this is the lower one. Okay, this is called the split pattern. Okay, sometimes we use the match plate pattern. But what we do in case of the match plate? Okay, so there are very simple shape and little size, that is small size product, similar kind of product we place on both sides of a metallic plates, and also we that means provide the getting system. We provide the getting system like the runner, riser, all the things with this plate. Okay, so this is we use for the mass production, because with single casting it's possible to make more number of products. This is called the match plate pattern, and also we use the sweep pattern and the skeleton pattern. So in case of the sweep pattern, what we do? The product, this is very big in size, and also this is symmetric with respect to its axis. Okay, and also circular in cross section. So in that cases we cannot make